Hi everyone, Brian from Bear Bull Traders here. It is the weekend, Sunday, June 11th. This, of course, is the weekend video. We will be taking a look at what happened last week quickly, and then we'll look ahead. We've got a big week coming up here. CPI number, PPI number, and then, of course, the Fed rate hike decision. That'll be coming on Wednesday afternoon with Powell speaking after that. So should be a bit of volatility there, I would imagine. But let's get down to it and look at where we are now and where we might be going. Okay, so let's start out with taking a look at what happened last week here. We did get some data released last week that indicated maybe the economy is starting to slow down a little bit, labor market finally starting to cool off a little bit, and as we got those jobless claims increasing more than expected, and everybody's hoping now that might lead to pause in rate hikes by the Fed, which meeting is coming up. An announcement will be on Wednesday. And I think there's about a 70% chance people are giving it right now that the Fed will will take a pause here on the rate hikes. Not to say that they're stopping, but just sort of pausing to see where things go. Some other things that notably happened this week, of course, Tesla. Big story of the week, continued to storm higher there on charging deals with Ford and GM. And then, of course, we had the announcement on the crypto crackdown continuing by the SEC with their actions against Binance and now Coinbase. Binance charges a little bit more serious, a lot more serious than the Coinbase one, but nonetheless, crypto crackdown continuing here by the SEC. Of course, major indexes, we finished mostly up on the week. The Qs finally took a breather on weekly, and money rotated into the small caps. As you can see there, we had a nice little move on the small caps index, better than the rest of the indexes. On the week here, we had consumer cyclicals were strong, energy sector was strong, but this has been after a couple of weeks of being at the bottom of the list here on the biggest losers, so a little bit of a bounce there for energy, but again, not a trend yet. So consumer defensives, utilities, the sort of defensive sector was on the defensive today and or the week, and logged the biggest losers. Treasuries sort of still hanging around these levels here. US dollar down slightly on the week, and of course Bitcoin is under some pressure due to the cryptocurrency stuff that is going on. So that's kind of the week in review here. And before we get started looking at some charts, as always, a little quick plug for my book on Amazon, Profiting as an Active Trader, Strategies and the Routines of an Active Stock and Option Trader. It's there if you want to check it out. So let's move on and look at some charts now. Here we go. We'll start out with treasuries as always, because that's sort of the tail that wags the dog here in terms of where things could be going, and we're certainly we're starting to creep up here on the 2-year. You can see that coming back up to this close to 5% level. That's where we kind of topped out here, but we are seeing some increase here. That's not necessarily great for the markets. The 10-year again bumped up a little bit over the last couple weeks, but still holding around this 3.75% level. So shorter term interest rates sort of under pressure to go higher. Longer term sort of in a bit of a trading range right now here. So bond market anticipating maybe we've got more rate hikes coming down the pipe further on here, but maybe not this coming week. Transports, again, we had a bit of came up into an area of prior resistance. Not surprising, we pulled back a little bit on Friday, and on the week, still up on the week, and still sitting at this 14,500 level is going to be resistance. The Dow sort of broke out from a bit of a range here, point of resistance, and momentum still looking like it's going to the upside. Volume was pretty light for a breakout, which is not necessarily good on a daily basis. Let's see what it looks like on the weekly. Again, not quite as much volume this week, but little bit of lack of conviction possibly going into this big week of economic event announcements. The Q's really looking a little toppy here. I mean, we've had such an amazing run since March, and just, basically things just don't keep going up forever, so you got to get into a period of consolidation, something like we had here. So I'm suspecting that that's probably what's going on here. We'll see what happens on Wednesday. Certainly if it's what's expected, I think we'll probably, we'll still probably be challenged with getting through this range, but at least that won't be an issue with if it's another rate hike that might have a pretty negative impact on the market. So the Qs on the week again looking a little bit extended, looking very toppy here. You can say the same thing with the SPY. You can see we're quite extended from these moving averages, even though we did gap up higher and stay higher. Again, we're into an area of prior resistance, and the SPY again, not a great amount of volume on a weekly basis for a continuation breakout here. So probably due for a bit of a pullback breather. And the IWM, of course, the best performer on the week. You can see here we did kind of break out of this this narrow trading range right between sort of 178, 179, and this lower band 172. We did break out here on a weekly, and again, probably getting up into an area here, this 180, another area of, or 190, I should say, another area of what's going to be a little bit of resistance here. And again, volatility just falling out of bed here. There's just no big concerns, obviously, that the market's going to really pull back here. So again, that's sort of supporting the thesis that we're probably going to do some backing and filling, as they say. You can see here the dollar again. We've kind of double topped here, came back down, and again we're sort of just hanging out in a range as well here, right at an area of prior resistance. So again, no big, there's a weird candle here, but I don't see any big pressure to the downside, especially if rates stay up. But but I don't see anything that's really going to push us too higher. We do have the ECB coming out with their rate hike decision as well this week. So if they surprise, they're expected to raise a quarter point. If they surprise and raise more or don't raise, that will have an impact on the dollar for sure. And Bitcoin, of course, under some pressure with all the SEC actions. And you can see here we're slightly under 26,000 on Bitcoin, and now we're just trying to hold this prior level where we broke out from, this 25,000 level. That's a key area to watch. If we lose 25,000, there will be a lot of more downside, I am suspecting. So key area to watch, this 25,000 level on Bitcoin. So what am I watching this week? Apple again, this looking a little toppy with the SPY and the Qs. Again, I'm not expecting a huge pullback. I'm more expecting some sort of backing and filling, consolidation here. And so that's kind of what this chart looks like. It looks like it's really having trouble with this 185 level. So possible sort of 185 sell calls, 175 sell puts, and just collect premium on both sides of that, or non-directional bet. And again here, sort of an indecision candle, hollow fill candle there, not looking particularly constructive. I still have a little bit of this AI, but again, it is narrowing into a pennant here. You can see we did have some really narrow price action on Friday. I'm not sure where it's going to go. I've already taken a fair amount of that position off. So yeah. Anyway, AI continues to have this bid under it based on the sort of hot sector mania that's going on with artificial intelligence. And here you can see Amazon again, almost like a tiny little head and shoulders pattern there. So again, I'm not expecting a big pullback. We may get pulled back to 120 next week. Got a moving average supporting there, but again, looking a little toppy, and probably needs to do some consolidation. This EMXC, the emerging market, surprisingly strong. It's ex-China, so no China stocks in that one. Surprisingly strong, and I missed this move, unfortunately. It is looking sort of toppy, and again needs to do some pullback, but I think it still looks pretty good on a pullback. Google, again, really extended from these moving averages after these big moves up, and now we're getting some topping action here at 130, which isn't surprising because that's sort of an area here we had support prior to breaking down here. So this 125, which is where it tried to break through again 125, 130, seems to be an area where we'll probably consolidate around. On Google. Netflix had a huge move, and of course this has been on the rollout of their pricing, their change in pricing and password sharing policies, and really this has really driven the price up higher to a point now where I think it's probably priced in, but again a little scary to step in front of that one because it can move. Netflix here, yeah, it broke through the 200 weekly moving average. That's pretty positive, so it actually could run some more. Anyway, again, some possible gap, 380 gap fill. But it's got a long way to drop for that. And NVIDIA, big gap up on these earnings, and really, again, just doing some backing and filling here right now. 400 seems to be an area where it's going to have some challenges getting through, maybe. What is our high on Friday? 397.11. So again, this 400 level looks like it's going to be a challenge for now. Perry was one I talked about 2 weeks ago and broke out. I got into this one, so I'm in this here around 32, just under 32. Got a nice move up, and this is probably an area where we'll see some resistance, so I'll probably take some off on Monday. Tesla again, just mentioned that earlier, big move on Tesla. 250 level again, hard to short this one. It's just stepping in front of a oncoming train. On the other hand, it is really extended from these moving averages. But I know Tesla will have a bid underneath it. Any pullback, people will be buying it. So you got a big gap fill here from Thursday to Friday. Possible fill on that back to 235. But again, Tesla just favorite. And Zion Bank. I've had that one for a while. I got out the rest of it, and it's topping out here right at some prior levels of resistance, which is why I took the rest of it off. So that is where we are at right now with some swing trades. So watch out next week. It's going to be a volatile session, and people are going to be very watching what the Fed's going to do, and also watching those CPI and PPI numbers that come out on Tuesday and Wednesday. Okay, so let's wrap things up here. June 12th, let's look ahead. Here's your levels that we're currently at right now, support and resistance. You can see here Wednesday we've got CPI data and consumer confidence. That's going to be extremely highly watched. See if there's more cooling of the economy and hopefully inflation. And everyone's expecting, I think they expected numbers about 0.4%, which is what we got in April. So we'll see how that comes out. PPI data, again, another highly watched number. That'll come out at 8:30 on Wednesday. And of course, this is the biggie, 2 p.m. Fed interest rate decision. Then 2:30 Powell will be speaking, and watch for the fireworks after Powell starts to speak there. That's usually when things get volatile. And we get the usual jobless claims on Thursday, retail sales numbers, and more consumer confidence numbers on Friday. So interesting set of economic events coming up this week that will really move the markets around. And of course, we've got Oracle, few stocks this week reporting. Probably Oracle and Adobe, probably some of the more interesting ones. We do have Kruger as well, and Lennar, home builder. So it's going to be an interesting week. So hang on to your hats, everybody, and we'll see you hopefully tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock. We are starting our pre-market show, and then 9:30 trading day open with our members. So hopefully we will see you there. Have a great rest of the weekend, everybody. Bye for now.